All right, welcome to pre-algebra this sunny but bitter cold morning, December 12th. Those of you that are triskaidekaphobic, don't worry. There's no such silliness. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, all will be well. You'll have the joy of the Lord in your heart. You won't be worried about a bunch of bad stuff happening and those superstitious things. You know what triskaidekaphobia is, right? Is this our second Friday the 13th this year already? I think we had one in September. So tomorrow is, a dreaded day for some, but not for Christians because we don't believe in that silliness. Yeah.
My grandpa was born on Friday the 13th.
Yeah?
He passed away on Friday the 13th.
Seriously? That's coinkydink.
I know, but it freaks me out.
All right, yesterday you did review quiz 2 on page 263. Are you ready for your correct answers? We did go over them all yesterday, didn't we? That's right. We didn't have homework because we basically finished all that yesterday. So we could dive right in to the chapter review, which we will be doing today and tomorrow. Monday, let's see. Does anybody have that schedule handy? The test schedule? I know Monday's normal. There's one day we're not going to meet, and then Thursday we're double the pleasure. You can sit down. Which day are we not meeting second? It's Friday? Okay, so listen. Hello. On Monday, we will review. Monday we'll start something new. Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll combine starting something new, and you'll get one more review before Thursday's test on next Wednesday. So even though we're going to start into Chapter 6, you'll get another review of everything we did in Chapter 5 again, and what we've done so far in 6 on Wednesday. Are you ready? Chapter review on page 2, 6, 4. Let's do the first 6 orally, shall we? Verbally. Raise your hand when you know the answer to this question. The fractions 3/5 and 5/3 are blanks because their product is 1. Now you might not remember it that way because Mr. Franken usually says invert or flip it. But what are the fractions 3/5 and 5/3? They are called, starts with an R, big word. David? No, they're not relatively prime. Yes. Reciprocals. Say that word.
Reciprocal.
Don't be afraid. Say it.
Reciprocal.
They are reciprocals because the reason they're called that is because when you multiply them together, what do you get? 1. Got it? Okay. Next. Number 2. If the remainder of the quotient A over B is 0. Sometimes these are important to read and answer because oftentimes math students are really good at just computing, but when you put things in the English language to them in math class, they don't really make sense. The remainder of the quotient A over B is 0. Is there anybody out there that doesn't even know what that means? Don't be shy. When you read that sentence, are you like, what are they even saying? Okay, thank you. Because, like I said, oftentimes in math, that happens. So let's read it again, nice and slow. You read it to yourself, I'll read it aloud. If the remainder of the quotient A over B is 0. What's that mean? If you have, the fraction bar is a division sign. So you're going to get a quotient as your answer. If you take any number, divide it by another number, and the remainder is 0, then the decimal form of A over B is what kind of decimal? Will it end or not end? If the remainder is 0, will it be a terminating or non-terminating decimal? If the remainder is 0, when you do the division. Terminating. Does that make sense? 6 over 3. What's 6 divided by 3?
2. No.
And you get a remainder of 0. So that's terminating, right? It ends. 3 divided by 8. What's 3 over 8? Anybody remember your eighths? Come on, Brett. Baseball, stats, let's go. What's 3 over 8?
475.
Okay, 0.375 and it ends. Does that make sense? It terminates. It doesn't keep going on. It's a terminating decimal. When does that happen? If when you do the division, you end up with a remainder of 0. A non-terminating fraction, it just keeps going on and on. You never get to 0. That's all that says. All right?
Wait, I just remember what remainder means.
Kiara gets it now because now she understands what remainder.
No, I remember.
I know. It's hard. That's what I'm saying. That's why I make a big deal of it. Number 3. You can use this when you do not need to find the exact sum of a set of numbers. We didn't spend a whole lot of time using this term. You don't have to have the exact amount. What can you use? Seth. Wow, good job. Front end estimation. By the way, all the answers are there right above the vocabulary review.
Yeah, I know.
You just have to, and Seth says, even if we didn't talk a lot about it, it has to do with estimating if you don't have to have the exact answer. Number 4, a value that occurs most often in a data set is the one mode. Raise your hand, be recognized. Thanks, Jaden. Number 5, for a data set, the sum of the values divided by the number of values. Again, it's put in English now, Kiara. The sum of the values divided by the number of values is the, Kiara? It's the mean. That's the way we normally do average. And number 6, the difference of the greatest value and the least value. Dina, that's the range of information. All right. And now it's time to get your paper and pencil ready and go to work on, today we'll do 7 through 28. 7 through 28. So 22 today, 22 tomorrow. And here am I, marker in hand, willing and able, I hope, to help you through any rough spots. Remember, to add or subtract fractions, you have to have a common denominator, and you find a common denominator by finding the least common multiple. When you add or subtract, if the signs are different, find the difference. Use the sign of the larger. When you multiply or divide fractions, if the signs are different, it's always going to be negative. So Rachel, to answer your question, we did review quiz 2 yesterday on page 263. And all the answers, everybody should have the correct answers because we actually did it in class, didn't have homework. And you could be like Micah and watch the video from yesterday's class on YouTube. Anytime you miss, you can just go to, what's it called, Heartland Homeschool?
Yeah. Oh, it's your class and it's your
Hit that like button.
You could even learn history from Mr. Henry on the Heartland Homeschool channel.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, I would do that.
I'm stacking up on views?
Yeah.
Sweet, I gotta check that. Because that's like a thing, right?
Subscribe.
Like that's like a status thing in today's, in your youth culture. The more views or,
You gotta go to Social Blade.
Yeah, just go to Social Blade.
Yeah, type in Social Blade and then look up the channel and you can see how many subscribers and stats you have. and everything.
Social Blade.
Yeah.
Or you can just look on the channel. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, Social Blade.
No, how is it easier? Just
I'm not.
We can see more sense on Social Blade.
You can see
As if life on this dirt ball wasn't hard enough, now you have to worry about how many views you're getting. Hopefully none of you at Heartland Christian School are putting any weight in how many views you're getting on social media. If you are, please come see me in private So we can pray that out of your soul.
No,
That you don't care about how many.
No one goes.
Don't subscribe. It's called Back to the Studios by my daddy.
Dominic, do you know that there are youth around your age that they base their whole day, their existence on how many views they're getting on social media?
And they're making thousands of dollars.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the opposite end, Noah. The ones that it rules their life and they get depressed or they feel unworthy because someone else is getting more views than them. It's awful. It's worthless. What's that?
No, because 7 is even trying.
You get number 8.
Number 8. All right, here comes number 8 on the board. Hold on. Before we start with number 8, I see people not even working. No good. Number 8. I am adding, please, I can't talk over you. I'm adding, and I see 2 numbers that have different signs. So my job is to find the difference. No, just because, it doesn't matter that they're adding. Because the signs are different, I got to find the difference. So it's 3 5/8 and 7/8. So I'm actually going to subtract those 2, and my answer is going to be positive or negative. What do you think? My answer is going to be negative because the absolute value of 3 5/8 is greater than 7/8. Did you follow all that?
No.
Okay, let me say that again. It's 2 fractions and we're adding them, or 2 numbers and we're adding them. They got different signs. Signs are different. Find the... Okay, so I'm going to set up a subtraction problem. At the end, my final answer is going to be negative because of those 2 numbers, the greatest absolute value goes to the 3 5/8. 3 5/8 is larger than 7/8. That makes the answer negative. Make sense? Okay. So essentially that problem is 3 5/8 minus 7/8. Can't take 7 from 5. Back in 5th grade, some of you would get lazy and you go like this. I'll just do 7 minus 5 then. I still got to do that in 5th grade. You still got to keep pounding that. You can't do that. You got to borrow. Okay, so if I borrow, where do I borrow from? The 3. How much am I borrowing? 1. Okay, how do I borrow 1? These are fractions over here. How am I going to represent the number 1 that's going to help me subtract fractions? I'm going to add it to the 5/8, right? What am I going to add? 1? 1/8? Is 1/8 1?
No, you're at 8.
How many eighths is 1, Rachel? 8/8. So I have to add 8/8 up here. Now I've got 13/8 up top. Now I can do 13 minus 7. 2 minus nothing. Final answer? Negative. Thanks for the reminder. 2 3/4. The other strategy, according to Noelle, and she's correct, would be to do this. 29/8 minus 7/8. You understand that?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Noelle chose to make 3 5/8 an improper fraction, and then she wouldn't have to do the borrowing. She would just get 22/8, turn that into 2 6/8, 2 3/4. You can do it either way. Are you curling up your eyebrows there, David, because you don't understand this way? You understand this way? Good. This was number 8. Come on, Zacchaeus.
Yes.
Don't make me get the taser out.
Please do. It'll wake me up.
Yes,
Will you do number 12?
I will do number 12. 3/5 minus 2/3. Can I do that as it exists?
No. Yeah.
'Cause they're not-
Same
You
denominator.
have same denominator. So remember the strategy for common denominator, it's least common multiple, right, Casey? So here's the strategy you should always use for finding least common multiple. Go to the larger denominator and see if the smaller one goes into it. The answer is no. 5, 10, does 3 go into 10? No. Does 3 go into 15? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to make these both 15ths. How did I get from 5 to 15? I multiplied by 3 times 3. How did I get from 3 to 15?
We multiply by 5. 10.
What's 9 minus 10?
I would not have gotten it.
Why?
Because
You know, if it's 9 degrees out and it goes down 10 degrees,
I was
what's temperature?
sure.
That's all right, minus 1. This was number 12. We are now inside a fortnight till Christmas.
That's
Yeah.
1 week. 1 more week.
You can't, you know, it was just a few years ago that you could use a fancy word like fortnight to kids because it means 2 weeks and they wouldn't be thinking of video games.
No.
I don't even play it anymore.
There you go, Noel. Noel suggests read a couple more books.
But I don't.
Put the controller down.
I don't like
Yeah.
Oh, my first one.
I have it's called the Art of Racing in the Ring.
That is
The art of what?
The Art of Racing in the Ring.
Oh.
It is actually a really good
That is a
book.
good book.
They have
Just one thing.
you should
It's so
I know.
That's an interesting topic. Who is the best at it? Jack Nicholson. Humphrey Bogart. Clint Eastwood. Whoa! Suddenly, math class turned into recess. Zacchaeus, would you please sit in your desk properly so you are not tempted to do anything but work? Any other questions? Cam? You good? Brett, you good? Jordan, no questions. 13! Thanks. She just knew I was getting bored. Mr. Franklin doesn't like to just stand around. 6 2/7 plus -7 1/8. Since the signs are different, I'm going to find the difference. So I'm going to do, and by the way, my final answer is going to be, no, my final answer is going to be positive or negative.
Oh.
It's going to be negative because of those two numbers, the absolute value is greater with the 7. All right. So essentially, that's a 7 1/8 minus 6 2/7 problem. You want to just do it the standard way? What's the common denominator for 7 and 8? Yeah, you got to go all the way to 56. 8 times 7, so 1 times 7 is? 7 times 8, so 2 times 8 is? Uh-oh. Once again, can't take 16 from 7, so borrow from this guy. Wow, I got to borrow 56, right? That gives me 63/56. Now I can subtract 47. Can I reduce that? 47 is known as a
7. It's
prime number.
49.
So, who answered that earlier?
What?
Someone said instead of reciprocal, they were prime to each other. David, these two are prime to each other. 56 isn't prime, 47 is, and they are prime to each other. Can't reduce it.
Yeah.
Ethan, did you retire from hunting? Can you get 2?
You get 6.
You can get 6?
Yeah. One season.
Wow. You know what? Ethan, get 6. And tell your dad to get 6 too. And by the way, why don't everybody get 6? Because last weekend, boom, right into my driver's side door. Thankfully, it just kind of barely hurt my hip a little bit. Car, no, really. The airbags deployed on the left side. It was scary. I didn't hit a deer. The deer hit me. I never saw it. It came, I don't know where it came from. Just flying from the side, boom, right into the
They have an airplane. Are you
What?
okay?
Jump right over it. Didn't hit it. And my older son last week was talking to his mom on the phone, trying to hear the conversation, because she often puts it on speaker because she's like in the kitchen or something. So as he's driving behind someone, he goes, "What?" And the person hit a deer, and the deer like flew up in the air right next to to the right of his car. That would have been freaky. Didn't hit his car, thankfully.
Gold medal.
They hit the deer, the car in front of them, the deer flew up in the air, and it went like just to the right.
Did it, man?
Gravity took over.
Did it,
Like land on his 2 feet and run away.
no, was it time did it get up?
I don't think he knows. They were traveling probably 35 miles per hour. Through 22 today. No, 28. Hold up, cut. You're doing 7 through 28 today. The reason the number 22 is in your mind because you have 22 problems today, 7 through 28. And I split it up so you'd have 22 problems tomorrow. Because Bella and I know that 7 through 28 is 22 problems.
Yep.
Yes, Cam. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do number 15 on the board. Okay, Cam, this is, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a negative minus a negative. Negative 7n over 9 minus minus 5n over 9. All right, remember when you're doing algebra, you never really subtract, you add the opposite. So this becomes negative 7 plus negative 5. Signs are the same, just add them together. Keep that sign. Are the denominators the same? Okay, so watch this. What number is this?
15.
Since the denominators are the same, that's good. I can keep that. What's negative 7 plus negative 5? Negative 12n on the top. And now I realize that 12 and 9 will cancel each other out. So I get negative 4n over 3. Everybody see that? Look. Negative 7 plus negative 5 is negative 12. Negative 12 over 9 can be reduced to 4 over 3.
Yeah, I just see it.
Negative 4n over 3. Again, it doesn't matter if you put the negative in front of the 4n or out in front of the whole fraction. Either way, it's negative. Yes? Sure, David. Elise. Yes. Everybody see 15? I'm going to erase numbers 8, 12. What number was that? No. This one. This was 13. So before I put, what number was it again, Elise? I'm going to do 17 on the board. Everybody got these? I'm going to erase them.
Oh, wait, no.
Dominic, what do you need? If you can possibly wait till David gets back, that'd be.
I've got 16.
Okay, I should have rewritten that. All right, I rewrote number 17. Isaac, I rewrote number 17 vertically to show that I got two different denominators. What's the lowest common multiple? I have a C and a 2C. What's going to be my common denominator? 2C. Right?
Yes.
What did I have to multiply C by to get 2C?
2. Because,
2.
oh, an imaginary.
So what do I have to multiply 3 by?
Oh, wait, 2.
Right? To make an equivalent fraction. Here, I'll put that in orange. I had to multiply this by 2 to get 2C. So I got to multiply that by 2 to get 6. So now I'm left with 6 minus 7. What's 6 minus 7?
Negative 1.
Negative 1 over 2C. That is number 17. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Don't just copy what I did and say, okay, I'm done, I got it right. Does it make sense? Because if it doesn't make sense, how are you going to get it right on the test? You're not going to be able to, I can't do it on the board for the test. Common denominator was 2C. And you wanted number 24? Can I do 24 first?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Is that the one you wanted? 24. 4 times negative 3 and 5/12. You can't multiply fractions until you have 2
Fractions.
So number 24 presents me with a whole number, which I can write as 4 over 1. Everybody good? And then it presents me with a mixed number, which I have to write then as an improper fraction. So I'm going to rewrite that one 4 over 1 times negative 41 over 12. I'll stop there. This is number 24, Case. From the book says 4 times negative 3 and 5/12. Right? Does that make sense that I wrote it like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I cross cancel?
Yes.
Beautiful. 41 over 3. Don't leave your answer improper. I can make that a mixed number. Remember, your answer is negative. Negative 13 and 2/3. If there's any part of this you need me to say again, Dominic, let me know. This is number 24. In your book it says 4 times negative 3 and 5/12. You can't multiply fractions unless you have 2 fractions. So I made 4 a fraction, Rachel, and then I made 3 and 5/12 a fraction. Improper. and then I follow the rules of multiplying fractions. I could have done this, 4 times 41 and 1 times 12, but why not make the numbers smaller while you can? Very good. Make sure you're asking questions if there's anything you don't understand. Who's that? Oh, okay. Bye.
Somebody go for it. I bet you the boys. I'm gonna give you
I'll eat 5 plates. That don't look like
Done already, Kiara? Can't be kidding.
What are those?
You gotta be
You
serious.
don't even pick on me.
I pick on Casey when you're not around.
What are those candy canes for?
But
That's it.
when you're around,
I'm gonna give you candy.
listen, we still got about 6 minutes left. Elise, you got any questions? Elise, I haven't asked in a while. Is that movie out? Can I see it? It's not out yet?
You want me to like guard everybody? Supersonic? I mean,
Sid.
Oh, the one that I the one that she was in.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I don't know.
No.
Oh, yeah, the movie Elite.
I would make you like guard everybody at the same time.
Spencer,
Yes.
you know I made speeding tickets, right? Did I show you those?
Yes.
You weren't even here yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I made them a few weeks ago.
It was like Friday.
I made them a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
I should have had these when Spencer was in 5th grade, but,
Hey, David.
and David?
All
All right, so when students, especially in math, I see their books closed and there's so much time left in the class time, and then I'll go open their book, and within like 10 seconds, I'm not really grading it, but I just kind of peruse. Yeah, there's a mistake that you shouldn't have made, because say you know 7 plus 5 is 12, but of course you write 13 because you're in such a hurry to get done and not get it done accurately. The most important thing in math, you like that? Little cop car, siren.
It's adorable. What happens if you get a speeding ticket?
Well, in 5th grade, Mrs. Coy, you know this wouldn't be my thing. Mrs. Coy has magic money. Can you imagine me having magic money?
Yes.
So Mrs. Coy has a magic money thing that they earn money or they can lose money. So if they get a speeding ticket in math, they got to pay a fine. So they lose some of their magic money.
What can it
I'm not sure. She they get rewards or something.
Yeah, I did that. Can I go back?
I'm more of a do the right thing because that's what you do kind of person.
That reminds me of that certificate in kindergarten.
Sometimes when you're on the road and you get a ticket, it's for reckless operation. So that's what I got here, reckless operation. It could be during history class too, though. You get a speeding ticket. Not being very careful with your words.
No.
Yes, we do teach math.
Excuse you?
You teach math.
Yes. No, I do all the math.
Yeah, that's what you drove to school then this morning. In my head, like.
I only saw her for a few moments.
I'm gonna get rid of this.
Did little sis get a haircut?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I didn't really see her much today because chapel. I should say middle sis. Yeah. I hope so. Sure.
And they always switch classes.
Getting your haircut is very light.
That was such a good class.
All right, 7 through 28 today, 29 through 50 tomorrow. Test, the big one, next Thursday.
This is your time.
Do you want to finish it? Have like 5 minutes.
Awesome.
No,